They're going to kill me if it's not, but it says it is. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As I said, my name's Claire Hill. I'm a three-star director. I joined the business 4 years ago. I, being honest, just joined to earn and save on my own travel. It's a bit of a hobby. I thought I can earn some extra money alongside my corporate job. And I didn't really think of anything more than that. My plan B then became my plan A. In 2024, I had my daughter. And when I spoke to my boss, I was on maternity leave, and they said, you need to come back in to the office 5 days a week in London. I was working in insurance, and I thought, I do not want to do that. I do not want to be sat on the train for 2 hours a day, and I do not want to be rushing in the morning to get my daughter to nursery. So I spent my maternity leave working really, really hard to get to three-star director. And I resigned in August last year. So on paper, I did not have time, but now I do this full time. I get to spend every day how I wish. And honestly, if I can do it, everyone else can do it. So we are kicking off the first week of the Elevate and Earn Academy. So what it's going to look like is tonight is finding prospects. I speak to a lot of people that are like, I just can't find anyone. So I'm going to take you through what I do. Week 2 is inviting. Week 3 is presenting, week 4 is following up, and week 5 is closing. So, all practical skills that we all need to learn. And don't worry if you're not good at any of these yet, because it is a skill you can learn and you can get better. So, I want this to be a bit interactive. I want the energy to be high. I don't want to just be talking at you. I want to hear from you as well. So, put in the chat box if you have ever said any of these things. So I've already asked everyone I know. I've run out of prospects. No one I know is interested. I hear that one a lot. I've exhausted my warm network, or I don't know that many people. Yeah, everyone's saying yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I hear it a lot. I really do. And I'm here to tell you that none of that is fact. It's just a fear that we all have at the beginning. It's completely natural to have that fear, but I promise you, none of it's true. It's just what we tell ourselves because we're worried about approaching people that we know, and we're still trying to get over that fear of what people think. We also naturally make decisions for people and say, oh, I don't think they'll be interested because they're busy, or I don't think they'd be interested because they earn loads of money. We naturally just do it, and it's all in our head. So I am going to show you why it doesn't matter if you feel like this. This is something we can overcome, and we can find a solution. So one thing that I really want to focus on before we get into the practical bits of finding prospects is that building relationships and connections is at the core of what we do. And I must admit, recently I've seen quite a lot of messages where I'm not seeing that human connection as much as we should. And sometimes I do wonder if it's all got a bit transactional, and people are, constantly saying, oh, when should we send out the information pack? Or when should we send out the video? And we're actually forgetting that we're all just normal people having normal conversations. And when you go out in the morning and you just have a normal conversation with someone at work, or, at the park, you're not overthinking it because you're just naturally talking to people. But then when it comes to business, we all sort of freeze and go, oh, I don't know what to say. Or I don't want them to think that I'm being salesy. I don't want them to think this. And again, this is all just our mind taking over. But if we can actually just bring it back to connecting with people and building relationships, all of this is going to feel so much easier. And I think naturally as humans, we do overcomplicate the most simplest of things. I know that I have definitely done that in the past. So I want to know from you guys, what character traits describe your ideal business partner? Because again, I think one thing that we really need to remember, and especially if you're new, that we also are interviewing people to work with. Like, I probably speak to my team more than I speak to my husband and friends. Okay. You want to get on with them, you want to connect with them, you want to have things in common. Like, yes, you're not going to, be best friends with everyone in your team, and you're not going to all love the same things, but you are going to spend a lot of time with them. So, what sort of person do you want as your business partner and your prospects. Put some character traits in there. It could be open-minded. I'm a really positive person, so I look for other positive people. I can't stand negativity. Negative people hate me as well. Coachable, yes, coachable is so important. Driven, ambitious, yes. So we want to be thinking about this. And fair enough, like online, you probably can't tell if someone's coachable, let's be honest. But you can tell if someone's positive or negative. If you're online and you're prospecting online and you see someone that's moaning about how Deirdre's parked her car again, or moaning about something, are they really someone that you want in your business if their whole feed is just negativity? Probably not. Or say, for example, you do prospect someone and they're giving you one word answers. Yes. Do you want to know more? Yes. What? Stuff like that. I don't even continue to engage because that isn't someone that I want to work with. So I would really urge you to think about that and try and put yourself in the position of authority rather than in a place of, I really need them to join my team. I'm loving all of these that are coming through. Friendly, yes, we want friendly people. Hardworking, they're all very similar, but that is what you want to focus on. Resilient is such a good one. But just think about that when you're prospecting, okay? We're not just going for anyone thinking, let's just get them in. We actually want to build these around genuine connections. Okay. So before we get into the practical stuff, I've just touched on this a little bit, the mindset shift when prospecting. Now, some people feel uncomfortable at prospecting stage. Does anyone feel uncomfortable at this point? So when you're sitting down in the evening, you think, I need to start some conversations, I need to prospect. Does anyone feel a bit of resistance there? Or do we feel okay? Yeah. I have a lot of people that feel resistance in this, and I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I've just started, so anxiety's through the roof. Yeah, don't worry, that will go as long as you take action. You've also just got to think, what's the worst that can happen? But that we really need to put ourselves in the right energy before we do this, because if we're going into it as, oh, I just don't want to hassle people, or I just don't want people to think that I'm, trying to push something on them, you're already starting from a place of like, oh, just resistance, tense. You're not coming from a place of like, I've got a really great product that I want to share with you. And that is the mindset shift that we need to have. We need to go from, I don't want to hassle people, to I want to connect with people who want to travel more, earn more, and experience more. And it's so important that you keep that in mind. Even if you write it down somewhere and put it on your fridge, everyone in my team knows that on my fridge, I have like things on there that I remind myself of every day. If you find prospecting a little bit difficult at the beginning, just write that sentence out and stick it on your fridge. I want to connect with people who want to travel more, earn more, and experience more. That's all we're doing. We're sorting, we're not convincing. If you're in a conversation, not to steam ahead, because obviously Lucy's doing inviting next week, but if you're starting to prospect and you're having conversations, you're feeling like you're having to convince someone, that's not what we're here to do. We're trying to find the people that are already open. Okay, so let's get into some of the practical stuff. Warm network. Let's start with warm network. Who shudders at the thought of reaching out to someone in their warm network? I want to hear in the chat box, because I'll be honest, I think even I did, not anymore. Yeah. At the beginning, yeah, so many people, and I'll be honest, so did I. I really did. I avoided my warm network for quite a while. Yeah, the worst. But I promise you, your next business partner is literally in your warm network waiting for you to ask them. Now, most people skip that because it feels uncomfortable, and people think, "Do you know what, I'm just going to go and talk to someone I don't know, because it doesn't really matter then if they think X, Y, Z. But in reality, people already trust you if they're in your warm network. If the amount of people that have said to me, oh, I had seen that travel thing around, but because you were doing it, I realised, oh, it must actually be legit. So it's think about the trust you already have with people. And warm network doesn't just mean friends and family. So don't think that you have to go out and approach your best friend tomorrow, because it took my friends and family, it took my mum a year to join this business. I was trying to tell her she travels the world. I was trying to tell her for ages. She was like, no, no, no. And then she came home one day and she said, I've just booked a cruise for me and my friends, 15 of us going. It was about £15,000. And I said, why on earth are you not doing the travel business? And she said, no, 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 don't want to know. I said, okay. A year later, she came back and said, actually, she did want to know. So even the people closest to you that are showing no interest right now, in a year's time, or 2 years or 3 years, they probably will. So don't don't not ask them essentially. But let's not think about friends and family for a minute, because your warm network is so much more than that. I like to describe your warm network as anyone that you could say hello to. Let's start with social media followers, right? A lot of my team say to me, oh, I've exhausted my warm network. And I say, how many followers have you got on Instagram? And they'll say 400. I say, have you asked every single one of your followers then? And they'll say no. But you've got 400 people following you, interested in what you're doing, and you haven't asked them. If you had 400 people at the front of your house, that feels like a lot of opportunity of people to talk to. But we put these internal blockers up and go, oh no, they probably won't be interested. So if you're struggling of somewhere to start, I would start with your social media followers. And we don't need to go in and pitch straight away. It's just starting conversations. If you've got Instagram followers, start there. If you've got Facebook friends, start there. Former colleagues, people that you used to work with. I have a lot of people in my team now that I used to work with. The first person to join me was actually someone that I worked with, 15 years ago. Think about those people. Obviously, we're all in different teams here, but hopefully, you've got a warm contact list memory jogger in one of your documents. If not, we can send one round. I would genuinely sit and write down the list of every single person you know, because you will surprise yourself of how many people you've got sat there. And I guarantee that someone in there is interested in this business. People at the gym, again, you don't need to go into the gym. Who wants to join my business? Just connect with people. I go to the same gym class every Thursday and I partner up with this lady, and I've been going for about 6 weeks now. And it was only this week that we started talking about travel, because of obviously everything that's going on at the moment. And she just got back from the Taj Mahal. And then I said, what do you do? And she said, what do you do? And that was it. But we've connected now. So it's like, then I'm going to build on that over time. So she's been added to my list. I've expanded my network, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. School mums and dads, if you're waiting at the school gates, at the beginning, it's going to be terrifying. Like, don't get me wrong, probably up until about a year ago, I had to psych myself up to talk about this in person. But I promise you, if you can start to talk about it in person, everything is going to become easier. And just practice that. If someone says, what do you do? Or what is that travel thing that I've seen you doing? Have you got your response there? Or are you at a point where you're like, oh, because once you've just got that, you've got your little, say, 60-second explanation, and you just can record it on your phone, listen to it, practice it. I promise you, you will be having so many more meaningful conversations when you can start to build that skill. People you meet on holiday. I've got a lady that I met in Abu Dhabi in February. They travelled loads. I didn't pitch the business at all. We spent a bit of time with them. We connected Instagrams, and then we stayed in touch. And then she, 6 months later, she's joined the business, and she's, part of our community now. So think, who have you met on holiday over the years? People you know locally. What I'm finding, and I don't know if anyone feels this as well, especially if you've got a team, is that people are walking past people that they could actually talk to the business about and add them to their list, and then coming home and trying to connect with people online on Instagram or Facebook. And obviously, we're so privileged that we've got that additional space to find people to connect with. But don't walk past 10 people you know during the day and then come home and sit on your phone in the evening, because those conversations that you're having in person could actually mean that you don't have to sit on your phone in the evenings because you've exposed the business a few times throughout the day. And then friends of friends and family friends. It might not be your friends that want to join, but their friends may want to join. If you get invited, to that event and it's one of your friends and they're saying, do you want to come? And all of their friends are going and you're thinking, oh God, I really can't be bothered. Just go. You're going to expand your network by about 6 or 7 people. And I just said, I touched on this before, like the number one rule is don't decide for people, because someone else will ask someone in your warm network. Don't know if any of you heard, but Leah Lockett has shared the story that she knew Vicky Patterson and she didn't ask Vicky Patterson because Vicky Patterson's Vicky from Geordie Shore, because she thought she'd be too busy and didn't want to do it. Vicky Patterson's now a 3-star director because Emily Fox invited her to the business. So please, please don't decide for people. Because someone else will ask. Okay, I can see some questions coming through. So what I will do is at the end, when we stop recording, we can just touch on a few if it's not too late. A lot of them are questions about inviting, and I'm not going to steal Lucy's thunder. So we're just going to talk about finding prospects today, and then next week's we'll cover how we invite. Right, this is a bit of a task here. Don't all kill me. I know it's 9:15, but I really want us to not just sit and listen. I want us to actually implement. So I want you to now write down 5 people in your warm network that you haven't asked the question. We're going to add them to your prospecting list. And then when Lucy talks through the inviting training next week, we're going to invite them. It doesn't matter if it makes you feel sick. It's a good thing. When things are uncomfortable, you know you're in the right place. And that's where the growth happens. Once you start doing those uncomfortable things and those uncomfortable reach outs, you will just find it so much easier. I have a girl on my team who joined about 6 months ago, and she was like, there's no way I'd be able to do the rep side. There's no way I could prospect anyone. And she's had a massive mindset shift. And she messaged me today, don't know if she's on the call, and said, oh, I'm going to ask. And it was like this celebrity that she knew. And I thought, wow, you've gone from not being able to ask anyone to, she said, I think I might just be bold and ask her. So once you get over that initial fear, it will become a lot easier. Right, pop in the chat box when you've written 5 names down. I'll give you about 60 seconds. Okay, brilliant. Done. Or even if there's someone that you've been avoiding in your warm network. Because I'm 4 years in and I've not exhausted my warm network. And I actually, the other day, was going through my Facebook friends. So I do a lot on Instagram, and I was going through my Facebook friends and I came across a guy that I met on the plane to Ibiza must have been about 15 years ago now. And I thought he's an entrepreneur. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. So I messaged him and he said, yeah, I'll take a look at anything. We're moving to America. Send it over. Here's my WhatsApp. And that was just from me looking at my warm network that I hadn't actually done. Okay, we've got a lot of dones. I'm going to move on. If you haven't done it, just write down 5 because that's what we're going to do next week. Okay, so expanding your network. Now, obviously, a lot of people sometimes say, oh, I don't know that many people. And you think that is a blocker, but it really isn't, because you really only need to know a few people that know a few people that know a few people. But expanding your network is where, again, it comes back to making genuine connections. And the goal isn't to pitch to everyone straight away. The goal is to connect with as many people as possible. And I've said at the bottom here, like, you need to be constantly adding to your network online and offline. I have also noticed quite a lot of people are like focusing fully on social media and not doing it offline. I don't put my eggs all in one basket. I'm very intentional that I am expanding my network online. I'm expanding my network offline. I'm going to go through how you can do that in a moment. I'm contacting my warm network. I am doing a bit of everything. And that is really what I think the key is to this. So I would definitely urge you to have a look at what you're doing at the moment. Are you fully focused online? Are you avoiding offline because it's scary? It's totally fine if it is. There's no judgment, especially if you're at the start. But Rome wasn't built in a day. So just take little steps to build those skills. And more connections equals more conversations equals more aligned prospects. So let's get to the practical stuff. How can we expand our network daily? Now, networking events, again, might make people shudder, but you can actually do these online now. And I've joined a few of these. So sometimes people say to me, oh, but I work from home. There's no way I can expand my network every day. You can, because online, there are online networking calls that you can do on Eventbrite. So you could Google, if you're a woman and you want to connect with other local women networking groups. I'm in Essex, so Essex. And that's what I typed in the other day. And one came up and it was like, this is online, it won't be awkward, da 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 da. So I thought, you know what? I'm at home today, I'm going to do it. So I dialed in. There was probably about 6 or 7 women. We got put in breakout rooms. We were all just finding out what each other did. And it was actually really enjoyable. And then now the lady that organised it had invited me to another event, and that was like half an hour out of my day. And I probably got I think maybe 5 new connections, as in then we followed up and followed each other on Instagram. And that is then 5 new people that I've expanded to my network without even leaving my house. So think about using online groups. Um, Obviously, if you can get out and about, networking events are great. And the good thing with networking events, I know that they sound really terrifying, but everyone there is actually there to network. So it's not like that fear of like turning up to a party and being like, oh God, I'm on my own, I've got to talk to people, because everyone's there for the same thing. So I really think if you can get a networking event, if you do one a month, um, they're actually really fun as well, and you meet some really interesting people. And what I find is even if people at that event on your prospect, their friends might be. And that, like word of mouth, again, is going to help you with this business. So become a regular somewhere. I've already spoken about this with my gym classes, but coffee shops, if you've got the ability, a bit of flexibility, could you go and work from a coffee shop for an hour or two once a week? Take your flyers down, talk to the person that works there. Do you mind if I leave some flyers here? That person that works in the coffee shop, again, I've got an example of this. I went to the coffee shop and I think we're talking about the weather, obviously, because we're British. And I said, oh, have you been away this year? This is last year. And she went, oh, I set myself a challenge to go away every month of the year. And straight away, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And I said, oh, are you part of the travel business? And she said, no, what's the travel business? Straight away. And I only went in for a coffee. Now, I do understand that I'm 4 years into this. So obviously, I'm probably a bit more confident in talking about it. But if we just think about building the connections, even if you're going in to order a coffee somewhere and you've been in there, a couple of times in a week or a month, just say, what's your name again? Sorry, I feel like we've spoken quite a few times this week. Jenny, okay, great. Next time you see her, you already know her name. Just building those relationships. Um, Co-working spaces as well. You can just have a little Google, go down and do a co-working space. And most people there want to meet other people because they're, lonely in their jobs, or, they want to be around energy and other people. So that is a really good way to expand your network. Be the connector and become valuable to people. Now, when you are expanding your network, and I do this a lot, I think I've learned this from a young age, but be the person that can connect people to something they need. So let's, for example, think if you're doing online and you're on Facebook or Instagram, and someone says, anyone got any recommendations for a plasterer? If you know a plasterer, comment or message them and say, yes, I have this guy. Because I asked for recommendations for something this week, and I think 400 people viewed my story on Instagram, and I didn't get one recommendation. Whereas I genuinely would go out of my way to give recommendations for anything, and people remember that. So be the connector, introduce people, even if you're out and about and someone says, oh, I've been thinking of doing this. I don't know, let's say like a sound bath or something. I'm really into them at the moment. Um, you can just be like, oh, I actually know someone that does that. Let me find their page. And yes, it might be a little bit of effort for you, but they're going to appreciate that. You've expanded your network and you can add them to your prospecting list. Hopefully this is all landing. I haven't checked the chat box just because I don't want it to okay. Where do I find those networking events? Just Google them. Yeah, just Google them. Um, okay. Right. Also, community is becoming so much more popular now. Like when I was younger, like joining communities, it was like not really the done thing to do. But now there's communities popping up left, right, and centre. Like we are in the best possible place for network marketing. Like back in the day, they just used to have to all be in person. They'd have to go to hotels every single week. They'd have to do things in their house. Like we have got in person, we've got social media, we've now got communities at our fingertips, like walking groups. I've seen those popping up everywhere. Running groups, mum groups. I went to a mum brunch when I had my little girl, and I really went to expand my network in the as you know to find some mum friends. I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to prospect. That was obviously in the back of my mind, but I wasn't. That wasn't the reason I was going. And I sat in front of two lovely ladies, and I barely even mentioned the business. We connected. Obviously, we had something in common because we all had pretty much newborn babies. And then we followed each other on Instagram. And then they saw what I was doing. They both joined the business. I wasn't going in for a cold, hard sell. Again, I was just building a natural relationship. So just think about people that you want to connect with. Like, what do you enjoy doing? Like, what could you connect with people about? Actually, chuck them in the chat box. Like, do you love dogs? Do you love coffee? Are you always trying to find that new coffee shop? Do you love walking? I love walking. I'm a little secret walking. My husband always jokes I need like those walking stick things. Children, yeah, if you're a parent, that's such an easy one. Cats, brilliant. Send mums, like I've got a lot of friends in that space, and people need support as well. So like utilize that. It's not about utilizing things in a fake way. It's all genuine, but then you're going to be able to expose the business, or people are going to start asking you as well. That's the dream. Disney, absolutely brilliant one. That's actually a good point, right? Oh, I'm going to go on to that in a minute when I show you how I find people on Instagram. Nursery mums, I'm a SEND teaching assistant. Yeah, so like just think about things that you can connect with people about, okay? Um, and then just a top tip, be intentional about who you could talk to in your week ahead. So, what I do is on a Sunday, I look at my week ahead and I think, right, is there anyone here? Am I doing anything where I might meet some new people? So rather than just floating through reactively, I'm actually thinking, right, I'm going to a 1-year-old's birthday party. There's going to be people there that I'm going to meet. They're probably going to ask me what I do. I'm ready to talk about this. Or, just getting to a point where like you're actually intentionally knowing that you're going to go out and expand your network. I got in a taxi. Well, I went to Belfast to the Belfast Planet event, and I said to my team, I am going to try and expand my network and find prospects on my way to Belfast. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit terrified. I was like, I haven't really done this in person with like random people. But I got in the taxi, and the first thing that the taxi driver started talking to me about was holidays. So I then thought, okay, we're going to have a chat about this. We spoke about it. I'm going to Nashville. He'd been to Nashville. We connected straight away. He then tells me that he's booking a group trip for 22 people to go to Orlando next year. So he's added to my prospect list. Obviously, I'm not going to go in for a hard sell in the taxi, but we've then been chatting. So it's like, but I was already thinking, right, everyone that I on the way to Belfast, let's be intentional. So look at your week ahead and think about how you can expand your network. Can you get a virtual networking thing in? Are you going to be seeing anyone potentially new at a friend's birthday or, a kid's party and so on? Hopefully this is all landing. What time are we on? Okay. Right, so I use Instagram a lot. Hopefully, I don't know if some of you do, but I'm going to show you how I actually find people on Instagram to connect with. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I know it's a little bit small, but Another top tip I would give is like pick three areas to build your business. So rather than sitting down, a lot of you are probably doing this around a full-time job or kids or whatever your busy commitments are. You're sitting down at 8 o'clock at night and you're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to find people now? I don't even know where to start. And already it feels stressful. If you pick three areas to build your business in, you know that that's where you're going straight to. It's going to take so much like stress and resistance away from you. So the way that I do it is local. I always try and build locally because when people see that you live in the local area, there's already a little bit of trust built. So I've got a few people that I've connected with locally, and then when the Christmas market was on, they've commented saying, "Oh, we're going to the Christmas market later." And then we're naturally just, again, don't want to steal Lucy's thunder, but naturally then that prospect has turned into someone that I'm actually building a relationship with. So pick three areas to build in. Pick somewhere that you've got some sort of relation to. So it could be somewhere you went to uni. It could be somewhere that you used to live. Maybe you used to live down south and now you've moved up north. Pick somewhere there. Pick somewhere that you know really well. Or, you get the gist. Pick three areas to build in and just focus on those for now because it's just going to take away so much stress in your mind when you're going to look for these prospects. Um, then I simply Google something relevant to me. So right now I've got a 19-month-old little girl. So I'm spending a lot of time in kids' play cafes and soft plays. So fun. So I would Google kids' soft play in Essex. There are loads. So straight away, it comes up on Google. I didn't have space to put this on. It comes up on Google, Little Play Village Hadley. Right. So I write that down and I find it on Instagram because I do a lot of my prospecting on Instagram. That place has 6,370 followers. I already have things in common with these people because they're probably mums or dads, and they're in Essex, that's two things, and they're probably spending a lot of time in these places. So I've got three ways to connect with them. And then I will just go through those and I will look for people that I think we would have a connection with, and then I'll just follow them and then I will, start a conversation. But again, that's going to the next week. But it really is that simple. So if you start to build this picture out in your head, if you love dogs and you're in Suffolk, have a look, have a Google for dog walking groups in Suffolk, and then you're going to find an Instagram page or a Facebook group, and then you can connect with people on there. Again, it all comes back down to human connection. Okay, another way that you can find people is actually by searching hashtags. So this is on Instagram, you simply go into Instagram on your, I don't know if I'll be able to show you on here, but I've tried to do a picture. Um, so just in the search, no, it won't let me because I've blurred it out. Just in the search field on Instagram, you just do hashtag and then whatever you're looking for. You might have to change it up a bit, but let's just, for this example, I've done walking group Essex. So I've typed in hashtag walking group Essex and all these different pages have now come up with the hashtag that they have put in there. So for example, if you were a new mum, you might put hashtag new mum Essex or Essex new mum. Or if you are a dog lover in Suffolk, like I say, hashtag dog lover Suffolk. They're not always going to come up. You might have to play around with them a bit. If you like Pilates, you might put hashtag reformer Essex, Pilates Essex. So that's a really good way to find people. And what I didn't put this on here actually, but what I find are really good as well, is think about places that you're going on holiday or places that you're going. So let's say you've booked a hotel in Tenerife for September. Find people on there. So do hashtag Hard Rock Hotel Tenerife. That's all I can think of. I've never even stayed there, but that's what I can think of. And everyone that stayed at that hotel and has done a post with hashtag Hard Rock Hotel is going to be on there. You could then message them and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
we've booked this for September. Like, is it as good as it looks? Or, any tips? Or, you're starting a natural conversation. I feel like I am, yeah, okay, I'm going to Centre Parks. Hashtag Centre Parks. Then you can start a conversation saying, "Oh, I've never been to Centre Parks before. Like, which is your favourite?" I'm going into finding prospects into starting your conversations, but you get the gist of how you can find people. Just before I move on, I am going to do questions at the end, but is there any questions on this point? Like, is this helpful with how that you find people? Does this work the same way on Facebook? Similar. So what I would do on Facebook is I would join some local groups. Um, Okay, good. This is helpful. It's landing. Good. Good to hear because you never know when you're talking to so many people. Um, if you're going on Facebook, join some local groups. So I am in the Billericay discussion page. And even this is a real good example, right? I posted in there saying, "Hi, has anyone know of any wellness events going on or sound baths? Really keen to do something at the weekend because it was my birthday." Straight away, people are tagging loads of people saying, "Oh, try this, try this, try this." And then people are messaging me, I'm messaging them. I've now booked an event, but I'm now carrying on talking to those people about future um, events. So it's like I'm still expanding my network just on Facebook by doing that. Also, you could join groups on Facebook. Like there's a group for everything. Um, it's probably Centre Parks Facebook group. Yeah, so you can just yeah, it's pretty much the same. I don't use Facebook, but I heard it's really untouched and good. So I haven't got much TikTok knowledge, I'm afraid. I feel like I'm a bit older for that. Okay, good. Right. Uh, okay. Also, just keep your eyes and ears out for people that post about stuff about travel. So many people message like, "Oh, I really fancy going somewhere like this." Any recommendations? Find those people, start conversation. People wanting freedom. There's a lot of people that will post like those funny memes saying like, "Oh, all I want to do is, I'm a size Maldives seat for Christmas," or things like that. Like, start conversations with those people, because they're saying that they don't want to be doing the 9 to 5. People that post about side hustles, people that are burnt out from work. Let's face it, a lot of people are burnt out right now. Um, Add those to your list. It might not be right now, but they're people that are potentially open to something else. People that want to work remotely. Like, this is getting so much more popular now. Like, when I was growing up, the 9 to 5 was just really the only option, but working remotely is feasible now for a lot of people. And dream destinations, you could probably join a Facebook group about the Maldives or cruises. Like, there's so many different routes that you can go down. But essentially, I just want you to bring it back to genuine conversations, relationship building, and just be you. Be you. Don't try and be anyone else. And like I've said throughout this, just be ready to talk about what you do and how you can help. Um, okay, just checking the box in case there's anything. Okay. Do you get many from your lives on your Billericay group? What do you mean? Sorry, hon. Say that again. Oh, little spelling mistake there. Okay, another thing that we are so privileged for, that our product is travel. Everyone's using it. So it's not like we're trying to sell something that people aren't interested in. So, like, we've got even more opportunities to talk to people because every time someone is at an airport, you can talk to them. It's a natural entry point. Every time someone's at any hotel, even if they're at a hotel for afternoon tea, oh, what was that hotel's like? I was thinking about booking that for my mum's birthday. Like, there's so many natural routes in with our product. We're so lucky that we're not selling like, I don't know, whatever. Every time someone's at a beach, every time, as I said, recommendations. And just add them to your list. Your prospecting list and your, or even your warm network list, it should be getting bigger and bigger every day. Pick a number that works for you. If you're working, 8 till 8 and you've got kids, don't pick a number like, "I'm going to expand my network by 10 people every day," because you might not be able to. Pick something that is doable but challenging. If that's 2 people a day, That's 10 people a week. It's 40 people a month. Like, expanding your network by 40 people a month, it's not bad, is it? But two a day seems possible. Five a day depends whether you're doing how you're doing this online and offline. But just pick a number and stick to it. Consistency over intensity. Like, don't pick a number, burn yourself out after 2 weeks, and then give up, and then wonder why you're not getting any results. Like, over time, like I'm still talking to prospects that I started speaking to like 2 years ago. I'm not even joking. Someone that joined my business last month, I think I've been speaking to for 18 months. So it's just about building your prospect list, building your network, and building relationships. Um, okay. I feel like I've said this throughout, so I'm not going to keep saying it because I think you've got the picture. But just please don't avoid your warm network. If you don't ask them, someone else will. And your network is expanding through daily connections. And like I said at the beginning, don't put all your eggs into one basket. Like, everyone should be finding prospects online and offline, and don't overcomplicate it. Like, be you, be authentic, and talk to as many people as you can. I think that is actually it. So I'm going to stop recording, and then I can answer any questions.